So, first of all, Billy, why is it called Industry 4.0? What's it all about?
Uh, So Industry 4.0 stands for the fourth industrial revolution. It's really just a rumination of software revision labeling. Remember, you used to get DOS 1.2, DOS 2.3, DOS 3 came out in the 80s. Well, they just called this fourth industrial revolution Industry 4.0. Um, it was an idea that came out of Germany in 2011. Really, the concept of it was to bolster and improve the readiness of German manufacturing for the future for future demands.
Right. Because obviously the first industrial revolution was back in, I don't know, 1700 and something, was it, or whatever, 1800. That was when machinery first started to appear and factories and mass production and stuff. And what were the two in between then? Because I suppose the information revolution was one of them, was it?
Yeah. So, I mean, the first industrial revolution is recognized as starting in about 1790. And really, as you said, it's about mechanization, um, using the power of falling water to power factories.
Right.
Is one way to think of it, then very quickly followed by steam. And it had big impact in the UK and in Ireland, where there was a big turn to mills producing cloth and fabric production. You'd see it in Devon. If you look about Devon, there'll be huge amount of industry at that time for silk production. In Scotland, where I'm originally from, there was a huge site at New Lanark in Scotland, which was one of the first big mills set up, and it had a special social responsibility as well. So it's a very famous example from the first industrial revolution. Then
Right.
here in Ireland, where I'm in Dublin just now, in North County Dublin, up in Balbriggan, there was a huge um, mill there as well, which produced a type of underpants called Balbriggans. You might have seen John Wayne wearing his Balbriggans.
I had no idea. And that was all part of the first industrial
That was
revolution.
the first. So the power of water moving these huge factories producing fabric. Um, that we see the second industrial revolution starts in about 1870, and really it's about the use of electricity in manufacturing for the first time. In London, we start to see the first power stations getting built. 1870, 1880, and we start to see the electrification of manufacturing. So the second industrial revolution is kind of recognized as using electricity and the concept of a production line. You've seen pictures of meat processing factories from that time, all the pig carcasses going through a process flow. That all became established during that period in about 1870, 1880. Then the third industrial revolution, which you mentioned, really comes about 1970, when we start to see what's referred to as a digital revolution, and that's where we see, for the first time, we've got a mass production of integrated circuits. Companies like National Semiconductor, Intel, Motorola, Texas Instruments start producing integrated circuits, and they start to appear in manufacturing plants, allowing for much more sophisticated control systems. Of course, integrated circuits are made from millions of transistors, then thousands of transistors, which are basically switches. They can be on or off, 1 or 0, hence the term digital, or 1 or 0. Then through a form of algebra called Boolean algebra, we can create mathematical forms, which creates computing. So the digital revolution begins in about 1970 with advances in the semiconductor industry producing integrated circuits. Industrial revolutions are the advancement of science, taking scientific advancement and applying it to industry. That's what you mean when you say there's an industrial revolution. So the advancement of science is continuous. So we're actually continuously evolving. I mean, the names industrial 1, 2, 3, 4 are a little bit contrived and made up, but the concept of the fourth industrial revolution, which came out of Germany, was really about how do we apply internet technologies into the manufacturing process to help control production processes utilizing the internet. That was kind of one of the fundamental ideas, and they created this idea called the connected factory.
Right. Yeah, because the internet has changed.